Well, hello there guys, and welcome to Fuhrerreich. We are going to be playing here, of course, as the Deutsches Reich under Anton Dossler. We've got a number of issues to deal with, but initially I think just getting our research is very important. So I definitely want to get the MG08 and Leichte Minenwerfer to increase sort of the way our troops fight. We want to make sure that we're prepared for any sort of war. I'm also going to research some interwar artillery, and I want to focus on industry big time. So we'll go for construction. And over here, we'll go for a science focus. I think electronic engineering is the ticket. Now we want to go for our national focus, guys. And this is a brand new game, of course, or a brand new mod, I should say. So there's a lot of different things we could do. Purging the opposition seems like a pretty good start. I think we first need to purge the opposition before we can really continue. So let's go and do that. We are going to strengthen our government here and try and strengthen the Deutsches Reich. I'll also go ahead and get some build slots, not only for, ships, but supply convoys specifically. Get a few destroyers going, why not? But I don't want to focus too much on the Navy. I really want to focus mostly on our arms industry here at home. We'll increase the time limit in a second here, guys. We're going to need to get some oil from the United States. And at this point, we've got some unassigned divisions, but we'll get all those guys together. Don't worry. I just want to make sure we have the right equipment. So we need artillery and support equipment. Let's get some arty. And some good old support equipment for our troops. No doubt we're going to have to be building a lot of this stuff as we continue to increase the powers of the Reich. I'll also get the Großtraktor. This is the heavy tank. I definitely want to start getting some heavy tanks into our army. And of course now we will start actually placing or creating some armies. So let me grab a nice chunk here. I think this is going to be enough, and we'll add if we need to. So our first general will be Erwin Rommel, of course. Now he can actually have 24 in his army, so we'll add some more. I see a few targets here. Number 1, Poland. Number 2, Denmark. Number 3, the Netherlands. France, we want to not fight. As you can see here, Luxembourg is much bigger in this game, and it's actually referred to as the Inter-Allied Rhineland. So this is the part that was taken during the Great War from us, basically. And obviously we want to get it back, but I think I'm going to put Rommel on the Polish front. This is really where I want to go first. So let's get Rommel here. Das ist gut. Go Rommel. We're only going for important news events. We don't want to hear every single news story, or else I'll be reading a ton of stuff and never get through it. But what we will do also is add some troops here to Rommel's force and fill up that army fully. And then, of course, we'll create a second army. The Indian Rebellion of 1935. Another Indian Rebellion. What a surprise. So first thing, I want to get the Infantry Division being built. We're not in a position to actually add anything to it right now, but we can at least start getting it built, and in time, we can do some military training. In fact, we might do that with Rommel's army. We'll see what we do. We'll see what we decide, I should say. Now I can see we've got some civilian factories we can build. We still have a few military factories we can build, but I want to, be building the right stuff. And in this case, we do have some missing equipment production, motorized and light tank. Okay. So let's get that light tank out. The Panzer II. And we also need the motorized. So let's go. Actually, the motorized is going to be in here. No, it's not. Shame on me. I should know this. There we go. And it looks like we need some more support equipment and definitely some more rifles. So let's increase the amount of rifle factories here. That's going to be something we constantly need as infantry equipment. And this way we'll be producing 9.39. I think that's tons per day. I'm hoping that's not just 9.39 rifles. That's not very impressive. The second army. Put this one in under command of Erich von Manstein. And I am actually going to put him on this area right here. In time, of course, we'll add more units here and continue to fill the gap in Manstein's army. But of course, one of the biggest things we want to do here is to increase the size of the Reich itself. Okay, strengthen our government. Wonderful. We must legitimize. So guys, our government has been an international pariah ever since the end of the Great War. The Treaty of Versailles carved our nation apart and left it in a shadow of its former glory. In 1933, Anton Dossler led a coup which put his Valkist party in power. Though it was massively popular with the people of Germany, the Entente powers, with the support of Britain, put sanctions on our nations and spread propaganda to our citizens criticizing Dossler as an anti-Christian warmonger. In this troubled time, many factions have arose in Germany to undermine the Valkist party, using the international controversy to their advantage. So now we've got to go ahead and purge the opposition. This is quite literally just a purge of the opposition. The rise of our Valkist party has so far been successful and widely received by many citizens of the Reich. However, within our parliament, there are corrupt politicians who seek nothing but to only weaken the current system and seek to maintain the status quo that the Weimar kept us in. These threats must be eliminated. That is creepy, man. But yep, that's what we've got to do, of course. Still a few unassigned divisions. Let's put him over here in Rommel's army. And the rest I'll send over here to Manstein. All right, let's continue, guys. We want to get that purge underway. We also need some more oil here. We're going to get it from the U.S. They seem to be our main source of resources right now. Maybe we should consider being friendly with them. And it looks like, look at this, Spain is already fighting. It looks like Republican Spain is winning right now. They're also fighting against CNT-FI and the Phalangists. A peaceful ending at midnight. King George V is dead. Okay. So this is in reference to the British. We don't really care. The king is dead. Long live the king. All that stuff. You know how it goes. Okay, this is interesting. The assassination of Abdulmecid II. On the 13th of January, Sultan Abdulmecid was very suddenly shot and killed by an unknown assailant. The local gendarmerie were unable to react in time to save the Sultan, killing the assailant only after the fatal shot that left the Sultan dead. Despite the unpopularity of the Ottoman dynasty after the Great War, Sultan Abdulmecid II and the rest of the Ottoman royal family were backed by the Entente powers and kept the empire relatively stable. With the death of the Sultan, uncertainty now rules the Ottoman Empire. Wow. We'll take a look and see who's in power here in a second in the Ottoman Empire, who takes over after the Sultan. But obviously this is just kind of part of the situation we're in. And actually we've got some political decisions here that we could use. Industrial renovation, which would add more building slots. I think we're good for now. Certainly something to consider, though. Now, what I'd like to do is justify a war goal here, but we need world tension at 25% to justify a war goal against the Polish. So in the meantime, we should focus on increasing the power of the Deutsches Reich as much as possible. A few of the opposition members are about to get purged. And in case you guys were wondering, yes, Hitler is in this game, but for some reason he's an economic minister, which is kind of funny because for those of you that know anything about Hitler, he was actually really bad with his finances. When he lived in Munich after the war, he basically, he was homeless, but it wasn't just because he didn't have a job. It's because any money he received, he would spend immediately on, going to operas. He loved to see Wagner, stuff like that, buying a tremendous amount of food. He was a bit of a glutton. So, it's kind of an issue. So this is interesting. The SA, Hermann Göring, is still part of the SA here. Of course, they're called, it's Hermann Göring, not someone, I was thinking of somebody completely different. Hermann Göring is, of course, the head of the Air Force, but he's quite important in this game. So let's take a look here. This would lead us down to anti-collectivist propaganda, dismantle collectivists, ban trade unions. So this would be like an extremely right-wing corporate state on the right side. And on the left side, we purge democratic sympathizers. Interesting, man. A lot of different things we could do here. I guess I'm thinking we're going to purge the ambitious army officials. They concern me. Hey, Alex and Wavell, how you guys doing? Good to see you guys. I'm glad to see Rommel in charge. Well, I'm sorry to tell you, Alex. I think, not Rommel. Well, Hermann Göring, though, is about to probably get killed. So we're going to purge these ambitious army officers. Even with the success of our previous purge, we cannot ignore that there are many ambitious figures in the army who wish to one day take power of their own, or possibly try to actively use the armed forces against us if things don't go their way. We must salt these individuals before they can sprout. I mean, we are brutal. We are absolutely brutal. I would say we're actually even more brutal than the Nazi Party in terms of our own internal politics. Of course, everybody knows about the Night of the Long Knives with the Nazis, but they essentially just purged heads of the SA as well as opposition party leaders. We are doing what Stalin did. We're purging military officials, and that, in Germany especially, is something very controversial. As you guys know, Germany has that sort of Prussian warrior spirit, and having officers, having military officials, they're considered, you know, very important people. So this is going to be interesting. Anton Dossler is seemingly a bit more evil than Hitler. I'm going to leave that up there in case anybody wants to pause and read his biography. It's quite fascinating. No, he's not a real person. I know, I think it's like 80% of everybody in Kaiserreich or Fuhrerreich are real, or based on real people, but Dossler is totally a creation of the Kaiserreich people, the Kaiserreich community. The Paris Colonial expansion. A few short hours ago, France has declared the Paris Colonial Exposition, wow, thanks, good reading, Agrippa, to be open after months of extensive planning. France, after facing excessive flack for their colonial holdings from other nations such as Germany and the USSR, has decided to hold a festival dedicated to displaying the vast resources of her colonies amongst a multitude of other subjects. A multitude of other nations has participated in this event, particularly other nations possessing colonies. Nonetheless, the event is planned to continue for a few months until it is closed at France's discretion, despite condemnation from the German and Soviet governments. So we are definitely a fascist government without a shadow of a doubt, but we are very anti-imperialist, which is interesting. It's definitely fascism with some shades of communism in a weird way. So this is definitely a very different form of fascism. The Valkists, as you can read here, named after the Germanic symbol that German Valkists wear. Valkism is an extreme nationalist and militaristic ideology that proposes a system where the political power is centralized under a strong leadership. Let's read the rest of this, because that was pretty cool. That through the state controls and guides the nation to its national rebirth. Nonetheless, Valkists fundamentally defend socially progressive ideals, and the leader grants liberties to the people. Interesting. So this is different from the Nazis in that sense. There is a lot more personal freedom. Valkists are characterized by adopting conceptual and aesthetical aspects from ancient, pagan, mystical, and esoteric traditions, generally relevant to the nation in question. There are many schools of thought in Valkist economics, but the state supremacy and control over it is undisputed. Interesting. So this is kind of like almost an occult German Reich. We are definitely purging the army officers here. Look at that, guys. Fascinating. So that's actually one of our focuses. And there is a hammer and sickle here. So we do have touches, just touches, of communism. But really, we are fanatical fascists. Let's see. Okay. Horst Wessel lead. You guys know that song. And he was actually an army soldier, or actually he was assassinated, I believe. I don't remember the story exactly, but he was very important to the German army in real World War II. And there's even a song called the Horst Wessel Lied, which the Wehrmacht would sing. In this game, he's actually risen to a position of power. So we could either take him out, which would lower our research time, or we could kill Göring. And that would just affect our air doctrine. I'm sorry to say, I think Göring's going to have to be shot. We're going to have to kill him. So on the radio here. Sehr gut. Hey, Warrior Donut. How you doing, buddy? It's like if Himmler was in charge, Alex says. Exactly. You got it. Hitler was obsessed with that Teutonic neopaganism. Very well said. I think you nailed it. It's basically that. It's very much pagan sort of form of fascism. And interestingly enough, as you could see there seems to be, like, socially, it seems to be pretty acceptable. We haven't seen anything against Jews or anything like that. And as a matter of fact, if we go down here, this is pretty interesting. There is... Here it is, the Jewish Commonwealth. And this one's led by Chaim Weizmann. And so there's actually, the Israeli state is actually totally under Jewish control here. So I think we're probably not so much focused on anti-Semitism as we are on promoting German paganism. But I could be wrong. I mean, we're still going to be brutal, obviously, in our assaults. especially if we're worshiping pagan gods, especially German pagan gods. I mean, they're pretty bloodthirsty. Sorry, Göring, you're gonna have to go. He was kind of a fat morphine addict bastard anyway. I think it's about time we get rid of him, to be honest. Now let's take a look here. We could actually modify our government and add some ministers. A head of intelligence. I think it's important to have a head of intelligence, especially to keep everybody in line. And oh my God, Adolf Eichmann, one of the most vicious guys in the Holocaust. He can actually increase our research time. I want to, you know, oddly enough, I want to hire him just for that. But he's an evil bastard. We've also got Deluge. A lot of these names I don't know. Canaris, Schellenberg I know. So Kurt Fischer. Very interesting stuff here. We're going to put Eichmann in control of intelligence. I mean, he certainly knows how to run a security apparatus, so we will keep him in control. He was actually the deputy to Reinhard Heydrich, the blonde beast who was killed very nicely by 2 Czech assassins. And grenade fragments will give you a hell of an infection, that's for sure. All right, so as we continue, we can force oaths of loyalty. So Horst Wessel will have to, of course, or basically admit that, you know, we are completely in control here. And I think this is probably the way to go. I would have liked to choose Gregor Strasser as leader of the economy, or Otto Strasser, his brother. But I guess we're going down this way. So we're actually going for a more corporate state, getting rid of, or actually maybe not. Let me take a look at that. It's anti-collectivist propaganda. So yeah, we are definitely trying to get rid of communism within our state and turning it into a much more corporate neo-pagan state through this oath of loyalty and the preceding things. Oh my goodness! No! Guys, Portugal! I'm there right now. What went on? Oh my God, the Portuguese Republic has risen up against the monarchy. And I'm guessing that would probably be in Africa that they would have risen up. Let's take a look. Portuguese Republic. Wow, look at this. Interesting. Alfonso Costa. Look at that mustache. That is a winning mustache, man. So it looks like he has taken over the Portuguese colonies in Africa. Maybe this is a good idea to increase our relations with him, although he seems to really dislike us. It's probably because of our government. All right, we got some interwar artillery, and we've got the machine gun ready to go. Wonderful. So at this point, I think I want to increase our tanks. That's 675 days. No way. Forget that noise. Let's do some industrial focus here. Basic machine tools. We should have this already. And over here for our infantry. Infantry equipment is 380 days away, man. That's tough. Could focus on the special forces, but I think I'll actually focus on military police, especially since we've been purging army officers. I want to make sure everybody is following orders here. Man, we are brutal, the Deutsches Reich. Göring once led the largest opposition faction in Germany, a popular war hero and ardent German nationalist. Göring used to be a useful ally of Dressler, but recent disagreements have seen them part ways. Prior to his death, Göring held significant political sway. His criticism of Valkism and Dressler spread throughout Germany, and despite their vapidness, to secure the stability of our regime, Göring and his associates needed to be eliminated. That is crazy, man. And let's see what happened over here. Looks like Republican Spain and Falangist Spain won this one, with CNT-FI, the Spanish Popular Front, led by Uribe, being totally crushed. Okay, we got those oaths of loyalty. It's about time. Interesting. Expand the TST. So we could ban all political organizations except our own. Or we could go straight for anti-collectivist propaganda. No, I'm going to ban... Let's see. What do you guys think? Let's check the chat here. Should we expand the TST? The TST helped us suppress our opponents, so it's basically the SS of our state, or should we go for anti-collectivist propaganda right away? Let's take a look here at the chat. Oh, cool. Thanks, Alex. So we could still take Gregor Strasser. Yeah, I'd like to see Otto Strasser in control, actually. That would be interesting. Okay, he's saying don't go anti-collectivist yet, Alex. I agree with him. So I think he's right. We should expand our security services. And especially if you have a state like this, an authoritarian state, you have to expand your security services. You can also get a theorist here. And I think I want to get the infantry theorist if I can get him. Air doctrine. Yeah. Let's take Konrad Zeus. Oh no. Why can't we take him? All right, let's try and take weapons manufacturer. Keep in mind, guys, this is still, this is 0.1 alpha of this mod. So I have no doubt we're going to face some issues. There we go. We're, of course, putting Mauser. Everybody knows Mauser. It's a household name. I'm putting it in control of our weapons manufacturing. Let's see how our infantry's coming along. They're coming along pretty well, actually. So I think I want to train some Panzer divisions. Put one here. Let's get some more infantry divisions. We have 501,000 in terms of recruitable population. We could definitely increase that. So I think maybe our focus politically should be changing our volunteer-only army to a conscription army or a service-by-requirement army. We need to be careful. I mean, we could be attacked at any moment. We just don't know, guys. And as you can see, the Continental Entente has a lot of power here, a lot of sway. We need to start bringing people to our Reichspakt, and I think that's going to involve going to war. But before we do that, world tension has to increase pretty significantly. Okay, excavation would be really good for resource gain efficiency, although we're getting what we need from the US right now. So I'm going to jump a little bit more here in construction. I know it's going to take 220 days, but I think it's the right thing to do. And see, Eichmann, Hitler, and regulated markets are lowering our actual research time. So once we head into deregulation, which is definitely the path we're headed towards, I'm guessing that we might lose some stability. Okay, here we go, guys. Interesting. Direction of the economy. I think this is what we're going to focus on now. So let's go ahead. Our economy stands at a crossroads. Both the Hitler, the man trusted by our Führer Dressler, and Otto Strasser, a man that quickly rose through the ranks of our party within the last years, have proposed promising plans to further strengthen our economy. Our Führer must choose which man will lead Germany into the glory it deserves. So, yeah, interesting. Strasser is definitely considered by many to be sort of the father of the SA, and in many ways the SA was much more socialistic than the Nazi Party. Of course, everybody gets thrown off by the term National Socialist. Please don't be stupid enough to think that just because it's called National Socialism that it's socialism. It isn't at all. In fact, in Nazi Germany, you know, the corporations themselves were given almost unlimited freedom. It was the highest pay for CEOs ever in the history of Germany. So believe me, it was very pro-business and anti-collectivist. But if we go to the Strasserite faction, I'm thinking we actually might become a bit more collectivist, in which the term National Socialist might actually be able to apply. So here we go. With Hitler, 25 political power. With Strasser, plus 10 infrastructure construction speed. And I think we have to go with Strasser. Strasser is the better choice. And now for our national focus. We've already chosen Strasser, so we can bypass this. Nice. That's cool that you can basically bypass. The Wohlgemeinschaft. During the Great War, the Wohlgemeinschaft was used to unite the people and break down the barriers of class and religion, separating the German people and encouraging them to support the war. Wow, we must again tear down all barriers, dividing us and unite all under one barrier, German. Fascinating. We could also go down the Chamber of Industry. I'm just taking a look at all of these. Or we could start with the anti-collectivist propaganda. It's tough to say. Construction speed might not be a bad idea. Let's take a look at what else we can do. This TST debate. With our rise to power, the Thutleschutzgruppe, short TST, has been steadily growing. Now we need to decide which route the TST takes. The High Command of the Wehrmacht has proposed to use the TST as police and occupation troops with special training. Von Seppendorf, meanwhile, wants the TST to be the elite of Germany. So basically, we're going to decide where the SS goes here, and I think this is a good debate to focus on. And you guys can, of course, let us know what you think the TST should do. Do you think we should make it sort of a police force, or do you think we should make it the internal security force, you know, just as powerful as, like, the Gestapo, for instance? Okay. Yeah, I'm definitely taking mechanical computing. This will decrease our overall research time. And nice, we got those divisions out.